The NFL is at it again. This time, two NFL broadcasters were caught on an open mic mocking the military flyover. The Joe Biden campaign is taking heat for a very misleading ad. Plus, what is going on with CNN's Jeffrey Toobin and his recent exposure on Zoom? All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with the NFL because you can look at the whole structure of the NFL, from players to owners to coaches to leadership to sports broadcasters. They just don't get it. This whole get woke mentality is alive and well. And we saw the other side of that expression, get woke, go broke, kick in with the NBA. Their season was a complete disaster, especially the NBA Finals, where Game 1 set a record low for viewership. Then that was broken. That record was broken in Game 2, and then Game 3 came along and broke that record. That's the NBA, and we saw it in the NFL. We saw them kick off the season with not one, but two national anthems. They have social justice messages, and of course, they have the national anthem kneeling. So how is this all translating into ratings? Here's an update. NFL ratings are down across the board slightly, but when the company broke down households by political affiliation, Republicans emerged as a sports holdout. In the first 3 weeks of the season, the ratings in Republican households dropped 11%, 17%, and 8%. In Democrat households, viewers were up 1% in week 1, down 4% in week 2, and up 1% in week 3. So that's interesting. NFL ratings down in general slightly, but definitely more in Republican households, which makes sense because we are the ones speaking out against all this BLM stuff, the NFL being held hostage by Black Lives Matter and just caving in to a narrative that is not true, that does not make sense, that is not supported by any kind of police statistics or systemic racism statistics or anything like that. Yet the NFL, the NBA, they're all in on it. And here's more. The ratings data align with a recent CBS News YouGov poll that shows 77% of Republicans said that kneeling during the national anthem of an NFL game is unacceptable. Just 12% of Democrats feel the same way. Democrats were the only voting group to keep ratings relatively flat. Ratings among independent voters dropped an average of 5%, and ratings among unregistered voters dropped 6%. So I find this really interesting because the story went on to say that the advertisers and the NFL have to factor this in. If they're losing Republicans, they have to adjust their audience. So it makes you wonder if they even care about conservatives or right-wingers at all, as long as they have that left-wing audience to satisfy the woke corporations that are advertising. Because you see more and more of this left-wing agenda, this left-wing narrative being injected into our sports. ESPN is all left-wing broadcasters, and now you see it in football too, where we can't just watch the game. They have to inject controversy with social justice messages, BLM, you name it, they're putting it in there. And this, look what just happened this past weekend, folks. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck for Fox Sports broadcasting an NFL game were having the national anthem ceremonies, the flyover, the military flyover. They're caught on an open mic, and check out what they said.
That's a lot of jet fuel just to do a little flyover.
That's your hard-earned money and your tax dollars at work.
That stuff ain't happening with Kamala-Biden Ticket. I'll tell you that right now, partner.
Are you kidding me? What is wrong with these guys? Now even the military flyover isn't safe? Now it's something to ridicule? And let me tell you what, these pilots will jump at the chance to get any flight time. Any airtime that they can log is valuable training for the pilots. Plus, this is a great morale boost, the national anthem in general, to bring people together. You can disagree on a number of things, but during the national anthem, we're all Americans. The flyby is patriotic. It's great for morale. It's great for recruiting in the military. This is why it's done. Plus, the tradition of having this. We've had it. It's great. We expect it. We love to see it. And it is a good thing at these games. Yet these guys are blasting it. And then Troy Aikman with the Kamala-Biden ticket. What does that even mean?
That stuff ain't happening with Kamala-Biden Ticket. I'll tell you that right now, partner.
Well, Troy Aikman probably has the order right, which I thought was pretty funny. The Kamala-Biden ticket isn't going to have any part of this. But what's the message that's getting out here, folks? What are they saying when they have to ridicule and mock a military flyover in conjunction with the national anthem? It doesn't make any sense. So, of course, there was backlash. Of course, there was an uproar. So far, Joe Buck, he hasn't said anything. But Troy Aikman, he got on Twitter yesterday and he tweeted this. I love a military flyover, but it was odd to see one over a mostly empty stadium. But I am an unwavering patriot that loves this country, has always respected our flag, supported the men and women in the armed forces, as well as those in uniform who serve and protect, and for anyone to suggest otherwise doesn't know me, my beliefs, or what I have stood for my entire life. So, sincere or just got busted? And like I said, Joe Buck hadn't said anything yet by the time this show's gone to air. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of their comments on the open mic when they didn't think they were being recorded, and Troy Aikman's comments there. Let me know what you think in the comments, because again, I'm just so frustrated. I'm not watching the NFL. Again, they inject politics more and more often when all we want to do is watch sports. So next, let's talk about Joe Biden. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 subscribers by Election Day. 100K by Election Day. We're almost at 97,000 now. We may hit that today. So please spread the word and please help. All right, let's talk about Joe Biden, because as you know, he's been hiding. He's not doing anything this week. No reporters talking to him. He's not talking to reporters. He's not having campaign events the whole week. How is that acceptable? Just hiding in your basement. He's going to come out tomorrow night for the presidential debate, but running a campaign where just the media runs interference for you, just knocks President Trump while Joe Biden hides? Is that a campaign? And now we see more and more this collusion with the media and Joe Biden not playing straight with the American people. On the ABC News town hall, he's supposed to get questions from everyday folks. One person was associated with a high-level Democrat in the state, and another questioner worked for the Obama administration. ABC didn't unveil that, didn't acknowledge that, didn't tell us about that. The Joe Biden campaign didn't say anything about that either. Now they've got an ad running with a business owner who says he's suffering, doesn't know if his business is going to make it because of the lockdowns. And guess what? It's not really true. And here's the story. The Biden team is under fire for releasing a TV campaign ad last week depicting a Michigan bar owner struggling to keep his business afloat during the pandemic. What the ad fails to mention is the man is actually a wealthy tech investor who made contributions to the former vice president's campaign. He also supported Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer's stay-at-home orders that kept businesses shuttered longer. So he says he's a struggling bar owner. He says they might not be able to make it, yet they're struggling from the lockdowns, which he has come out and supported. Oh my gosh. And here's more. The ad, which was posted to YouTube on Thursday and aired Sunday on CBS during NFL games, features Joe Malkoun, who is listed as the co-owner of The Blind Pig, a once popular bar and music venue in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Malkoun blamed his business's economic downturn on President Trump's COVID-19 response. For 50 years, The Blind Pig has been open and crowded, but right now it's an empty room, he says in the 1-minute ad showing the empty venue. This is the reality of Trump's COVID response. President Trump's COVID response. So let's take a look at that, okay? Is it President Trump's COVID response when South Dakota didn't lock down at all? Is it President Trump's COVID response in Florida, where it is basically wide open again, open for business? Or is it just President Trump's COVID response for these left-wing leaders in these states that are keeping people locked down, that are keeping businesses closed, and really not doing anything to stop the spread of coronavirus. I mean, is that the only ones that is President Trump's COVID response? Because other states haven't reacted, like Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, keeping people locked down, keeping businesses closed, and driving people out of business. They can't make payments. They can't pay their rent. They can't pay other bills, all because of her and folks like this that supported the lockdowns. And now they're saying it's President Trump's COVID response. Give me a break. All right. So now let's talk about CNN's Jeffrey Toobin, because there are left-wing loons and then there are left-wing loons, because this story just really got me going. I was almost going to save it for relaxed brain, but when you see the story, you know it's not relaxed and he wasn't using his brain. This guy is a CNN legal contributor. He also works for the New Yorker magazine. He's now suspended because he was on a Zoom conference call and says he didn't know his camera was on while he exposed himself on the Zoom conference call. That's what they're calling it, exposed himself, but there was actually a lot more to it. And here's the story. New Yorker reporter Jeffrey Toobin has been suspended after exposing himself on a company's Zoom call last week. Toobin exposed himself during a call with New Yorker and WNYC radio staffers, according to Vice. He apologized in a statement and called the incident an embarrassingly stupid mistake. An embarrassingly stupid mistake. So again, at first that was a report that he exposed himself. But as we learn now, there was more to it than that. There was more activity to it. And like I said, I was going to leave this for relaxed brain. But again, he wasn't relaxed and he wasn't using his brain. And here's more. Vice later updated its article to note that Toobin was reportedly masturbating on a Zoom call. Two people who spoke on condition of anonymity reportedly said they saw Toobin taking care of business, per Vice. Jeffrey Toobin has asked for some time off while he deals with a personal issue, which we have granted, according to CNN. A personal issue. CNN's Brian Stelter, who's supposed to be their media watchdog guy, who's just as lame as the rest of them, he's taking heat because he covered this story, but he says that Toobin is now sidelined during this pivotal moment in the presidential election because of an accident. This kind of thing doesn't accidentally happen. What is going on over at CNN with these folks? It's just unreal. So next, let's talk about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and this email scandal that keeps growing and keeps growing. Facebook and Twitter did us a big favor by putting big attention to this. They are still censoring things, which is a big deal. And the story is growing. The story is real. The laptop is in the custody of the FBI. These emails appear to be authentic, and Joe Biden isn't saying anything about it. But Democrats like Adam Schiff have come out and said this is some kind of Russian disinformation campaign, which is totally bogus because it has nothing to do with the Russians. This is Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden himself dropped it off at the repair shop. And now we've got the director of national intelligence coming out and countering what Schiff said, saying, no, this is not Russian disinformation. And here's the story. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe said the emails from the laptop reportedly belonging to Hunter Biden are not part of a Russian disinformation campaign against Democrat nominee Joe Biden, as House Republicans called for a special counsel to investigate. Mr. Ratcliffe said there is no evidence that Hunter Biden's explosive emails have any connection to Moscow, and he specifically called out Representative Adam Schiff, California Democrat and chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, for spreading the baseless conspiracy theory. Oh my gosh, folks, Adam Schiff is so lame. He'll say anything, but to say it's Russian disinformation is just ridiculous on its face. And this is a serious deal. These emails show business dealings, influence, pay for play, and Joe Biden being compromised, being paid off, and being compromised by the Chinese government. That disqualifies him from being president. That's why we need to look into this, because there is no way Joe Biden should be president in general. He can't handle it. He's losing it mentally. That's obvious. But now with this, there's no way he should be elected. And here's more. It's funny that some of the people who complain the most about intelligence being politicized are the ones politicizing the intelligence, Mr. Ratcliffe said on Fox Business. Unfortunately, it is Adam Schiff who said the intelligence community believes the Hunter Biden laptop and emails on it are part of a Russian disinformation campaign. He said, all right, Joe Biden needs to be taken to task, and he's not saying anything about this, and the media aren't pushing him. The major media networks are just letting this go. He's hiding in his basement, not doing any campaign events. On the weekend, a CBS reporter, a local reporter, asked him the question, and this is all he said.
Mr. Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son, sir?
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. Right up your alley. Those are the questions you always ask.
Yep, and like I said, the rest of the media are just ignoring it. It is up to us. It's up to President Trump. It's up to the Republicans to keep pushing this story because, again, this is a disqualifying event. These emails, this situation with Ukraine, with China, showing Joe Biden profiting, showing him using influence to affect governmental relations with Ukraine, with China, that is corruption, folks. That is something that Joe Biden needs to be taken to account for. It is outrageous, and there's no way he should be president. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.